Have you ever had a moment, maybe, in the middle of the night, when everything around you was silent, where you suddenly asked yourself, who am I really? Not your name, not your job, not the roles you play for other people, but the deeper youth, the one that looks out through your eyes, the one that never ages, the one that feels both infinite and trapped in this fragile body. That haunting awareness, it's that flicker of self that doesn't quite fit in the world of flesh and bones. That is what our ancestors called. And here's the truth. Most people spend their entire lives running from. You are not your body. You are not even your mind. You are the Ru'h, an invisible spark breathed into you by the Creator himself. But if that's true, then why do we feel so lost, so heavy, so chained by fear, by desire, by pain? If the Ru'h is divine, why do we live like prisoners? Think about it this way. Imagine a king sending a messenger into a foreign land. The messenger carries the king's seal, his authority, his dignity. Okay, but once in that land, the messenger forgets who he is. He dresses like the locals, eats their food, takes their customs as his own, and begins to believe he is just one of them. That's us. The Ru'h is the king's seal. We're sent into this world as a guest. But somewhere along the way, you forgot. You believed the story your body and mind told you. You thought you were just flesh and blood, a temporary accident, an anxious bundle of survival instincts. Al-Ghazali once said that the Ru'h is like a bird trapped in a cage. The cage is the body, and the bird forgets its wings because it has been confined for so long. It pecks its seeds, listens to the noise around it, and begins to think this little cage is the whole universe. But deep down, a part of you remembers. That restless feeling you can't shake, that longing that no success, no pleasure, no relationship ever fully satisfies, that is the Ru'h whispering to you. It is the homesickness of the soul. Rumi wrote that the Ru'h is like a mirror. When it is polished, it reflects divine light. But when covered in dust, it reflects nothing but darkness and confusion. And what is that dust? It is the layers of ego, fear, lust, greed, and distraction that accumulate over time. Every lie we tell ourselves, every unhealthy attachment, every time we reduce life to material gains, it adds another layer of dust. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of us are addicted to the dust. We clutch at our egos, we nurse our grudges, we build identities out of pain, and then we wonder why the Ru'h feels silent. But the Ru'h never disappears, it is only veiled. Ibn Arabi once said that the Ru'h is like a lamp placed inside many veils. The more veils you remove, the brighter the light shines. So ask yourself honestly, what veils have you wrapped around your own soul? There's another layer to this story. The Quran describes the Ru'h as something mysterious, something of the command of God that humans cannot fully comprehend. And yet it is also described as the very thing that animates us, that makes us human rather than clay. This means life itself is a battlefield between two voices within you. On one side, the nafs, the self, full of appetites, impulses, and illusions. On the other side, the Ru'h, a whisper of eternity, the compass pointing back to the source. Al-Ghazali said that ignoring the Ru'h is like a king who hires a servant to take care of his horse. Instead of feeding the king, the servant spends all his time feeding and grooming the horse. The horse becomes strong, shiny, and magnificent, while the king starves. And isn't that what most of us do? We spend endless energy feeding the body, decorating it, entertaining it, satisfying its cravings, while the Ru'h inside is starving for meaning, starving for God. Here is the paradox. You can give the nafs everything it craves and still feel empty. But the moment you nourish the Ru'h even with a single breath of remembrance, a single act of sincerity, you feel a strange, unexplainable peace. Let's talk about death not as an abstract, but as a mirror. One day, your body will grow cold. The mind that busied itself with plans and worries will fall silent. And yet something of you will remain. The Ru'h does not die. This is why the great scholars of Islam insisted on reflecting on death not to terrify, but to awaken. To remind us that what you really are cannot be measured in years, possessions, or titles. Rumi tells the story of a chickpea boiling in a pot. The chickpea cries out, "Why are you burning me?" And the cook replies, "I am not destroying you. I am transforming you so You may become part of something greater. Death is not the end of the Ru'h. It is its transformation, its release from the cage. So the question is not whether the Ru'h survives, it does. The question is whether you recognized it, honored it, and polished it while you still had the chance. Here's something that might sting. Most of us live our entire lives in betrayal of the Ru'h. We chase every temporary pleasure while ignoring the eternal guest within us. We scroll endlessly. We consume without pause. We drown ourselves in noise, and then complain that we feel lost, anxious, unfulfilled. But the problem is not the world. The problem is the silence we refuse to sit with, the soul we refuse to listen to. Ibn Arabi wrote that the Ru'h is closer to you than your own self, yet more hidden than the farthest star. Why? Why? Because we refuse to look inward with honesty. We are terrified of the silence, because in silence, the Ru'h speaks, and when it speaks, it shatters illusions. And that is what scares us most. But there is hope. The Ru'h can always be awakened, no matter how long it has been ignored. The Quran says, "And we breathed into him of our spirit." That means your very existence is a reminder that God has not abandoned you. You carry his breath within you. Think of it like this. If you drop a diamond in the mud, it does not lose its value. You only need to wash it, polish it, and it shines again. Your Ru'h is that diamond. No sin, no failure, no despair can erase its divine origin. The path back is not complicated. It is not about mystical secrets or impossible rituals. It begins with a single moment of presence, a sincere prayer, a whispered remembrance, a choice to polish the mirror, to feed the king rather than the horse, and slowly, the Ru'h begins to stir. It begins to remember. So who are you really? You are not your wounds, not your fears, not your failures. You are the Ru'h, a divine spark, temporarily wrapped in clay. And the purpose of your life is not to decorate the clay, but to awaken the spark, to let it grow, to let it guide, to let it pull you back toward the one who sent you. Al-Ghazali said, "The one who knows himself knows his Lord." And perhaps that is the secret hidden in plain sight. To truly know yourself is not to obsess over your personality, your past, or your image. It is to recognize the divine guest within you and to live in harmony with it. So I'll leave you with this question, one that you cannot escape, whether today, tomorrow, or at the moment of your final breath. Will you live as the body, chasing shadows until the cage falls apart? Or will you live as the Ru'h, polishing the mirror, awakening the spark, and returning to the source with a soul that remembers where it came from? The choice has always been yours. And maybe, just maybe, that restless voice inside you, the one you've tried so hard to silence, is not your enemy at all. Maybe it is the Ru'h, knocking on the walls of your heart, whispering, "Wake up, you are made for more than this."